What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm not going to do it again. Moment's over. Welcome back to the Sofa Session. Today is going to be actually a pretty laid back episode. Were you going to say something? Okay. Well, it is. If you were going to just kind of counter my statement, it's going to be.
I literally didn't even say anything.
You were going, we'll think about it. Anyways, yeah, today we're just going to be going through it's really just like life on set of Scream Bloodlines. You see all of our decor. Got a knife. We got this ASMR moment. And then we got Ghostface just hanging around up there with a little spider on him. So yeah. Can you say something at least?
I'm just letting you do the intro.
That was the intro.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So go ahead.
What would you like me to say?
Well, the main thing that I got on set, even though I wasn't in it, I was a very big part, Michael and I were, it was very hectic. Very hectic, very like on the move, like we're going to get this done, this and this and this and this and this and this and this done in the matter of 2 hours. So let's do it.
Correct.
So a lot of like playing with the day and being like, hey, we got to get this done before the sun goes down. And then we have to do this as the sun's going down. And then we have to do this when it's dark, you know?
Yeah.
So please.
Hectic. Yeah. That is a great word to describe it. I guess for me, I never feel like it. It doesn't ever feel hectic. And that's probably because I'm like in the thick of it. Like I'm in the eye of the storm, if you will.
In the eye.
I'm in the eye of the storm, if you will. And I would. Set. I guess it also depends on what you're filming. I think that because we were filming something like a horror film, like that amplifies like that feeling of hectic, because that's what we're producing as well, is that feeling. So when the camera when I yell cut, it's like I'm cutting into hectic, and then when I yell action, it's also hectic on camera. Mm-hmm. So like there was never really like a moment where we can be like cut and like be fine. It was like cut and like we have to like keep going and we have to get to the next scene, and like you said, we have to beat the sun, or we have to beat the heat, or we have to do any of that, you know what I mean? Excuse me. But yeah, I think that if we were producing a love, like like a drama, it wouldn't have felt as hectic. And granted, like I just am a hectic person. I have a lot going on, and I feel like I need to like delegate and be like, okay, I need you over here. And it's like I was so bad at delegating for a long time that when I finally figured out how to delegate, it was like,
this is true. Yeah. What? You said it first, not me.
You were thinking it.
Well, you said it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess learning how to delegate really helped that, but it never, like I said, it never felt hectic to me. It always felt right.
Yeah. And I think mainly it was hectic because, for me at least, because we were getting this done in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And which isn't a bad thing. It's just like, just makes you crack down even more, you know, earlier call times, later, like in the same day. It's like you're starting at 4:35 in the morning. You're not ending until midnight the next day. Yeah. And maybe still going.
Yes.
You know,
in my case, yes.
Yes. And you had a little bit of a journey.
Okay. I knew you were going to do this. I knew it. Bro, this is why I did not want to come on. I knew you were about to do this.
I'm not going to roll the tapes. We're not going to do that. Let's just say it was about 90 something hours of filming, and you didn't sleep.
Correct.
Once.
True.
You didn't even take a little nap.
I did.
You were running on fumes towards the end of energy drinks that really just weren't working at that point.
Well, there was nothing that was working.
No.
There was nothing that was working. And it's not even that, like, it's what's funny to me is I was only running on fumes because the filming stopped. Like, we stopped filming. So then I was running on fumes. But while we were filming, you would have swore that I've been awake. I woke up an hour ago.
Yeah, you and that annoying ass megaphone.
I just feel like, what was the point in getting me if you didn't expect me to
I didn't get it for you.
I know you didn't, and I'm so glad that I got it.
Your father got it for you.
I understand that. Yeah, no, I think that it was a long shoot.
It was.
It was a long shoot. I started at 5 p.m. on Thursday night.
On a Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, about 5 on, not even, because we did cast interviews that day. So I started at about 11 that Thursday, and I did not actually lay my head down to sleep until Monday at like
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it. You also didn't eat anything.
Here's the thing.
Like, we had to get you food, and then you still didn't eat it until about 3 o'clock in the morning.
When you're Monday. Doing what you love, you don't think about everything else. Yes. Like, genuinely, I didn't, like, it wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind. Like, oh, I'm hungry. Yeah. It was like, oh my God, what do I need to do next? Okay, I need to get here. And then it was like, even if the team, because like what was happening was the cast would have breaks because they were the cast. I needed my talent to be fresh and ready, and they needed to have breaks. The team did not. So like, even if the cast had an hour and a half to 2 hour break, I was still figuring this out, doing the sets, making sure this was over here and that was over there, and going over the script with the script supervisor and going over the script with the director of photography. And, you know, so it was just like, there was never a moment where I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
a moment that where you thought, okay, I can chill for a second.
No.
Yeah, no, that never happened.
No, there's no chilling with him. He's just kind of there.
Yeah. I just remember one of the sets was an escape room. Yeah. And it was crazy because that's what we used. And it just so happened that one of the escape room rooms was like a jail scene.
Yeah.
Or like a jail room. And that was like perfect. So, and luckily we were able to get that space, but we had it at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
We had to leave at like 5 in the morning to set up.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier than that. But
there was a set being delivered. So I had like the walls built.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Into the escape room. And luckily that was really easy to like get set up.
Yeah, it was crazy when you think about it. Like, what do you mean you had the walls built? But like that is my life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we had the walls built, so we had to have it delivered, and then we had to get it set up, and then we had to do the tear down, and then we had to be 45 minutes away to film, you know, the ending scene, and then we had to be another hour and a half away to film the opening scene, and then we had to be another 45 minutes away to film like the kind of in-between scenes. So it was just like, it's like I remember it like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Like I remember it, but it's like, did that really happen? Like it was just this moment of like, oh, this is why. This is me. This is why I'm here.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of going back to that jail scene. It was like, I don't think people realize how much time that took. Like, you think you can just like, I mean, I don't think people think like this all the time, but I think just off the top of your head, you're like, oh yeah, they go in, they'll film her side, and then they're done. You can just go into next. And then we're like, no, we were there for 3 hours.
Correct.
Just getting that one scene.
Correct.
Because we had to film one side several times, probably. I don't even remember how many takes we took, but
yeah, 4 or 5, 6
times, and then same thing with the other side.
Correct.
The other side took less because it was pretty good.
Yeah, like pretty good. It was like their lines. Do you know your lines? Are you giving the emotion that I need you to give in here? And it's interesting because one thing about me is I hate telling people to feel. I don't like that. That doesn't like I don't bode well with that as a director. But like that is why it's so interesting because like it feels like I'm like trying to teach you how to be a human being and I don't know how to do cry. That. Yeah, like I can't do that.
Yeah.
So like in those moments, like the correction was always how do you feel versus I need you to feel.
Yeah.
And then kind of going from there, like, well, how do you feel and why do you feel like that? What are you taking away from this? And that was just kind of the interaction.
Well, also, it's also along the lines of, we were doing those scenes so many times, and the actresses had to put themselves through that emotion time and time again, as if they didn't just do it before and cried their eyes out before. That's the thing. They went in, they did it, and then they're like, okay, we got to do it again. Mm-hmm. Pull yourselves together, make it look like you're not crying, and then cry again for me.
And this is what I mean by it's such a surreal experience if you don't know. Like, well, that's not true. It's a surreal experience when you know what happens, right? Like when you're behind the scenes. Like we watch Vampire Diaries often, and like for me, it's an emotional journey. But like it's because I know what you had to have went through to get to that.
Yeah.
What happens if the take was wrong? What happens if a fucking plane flew over and you couldn't get the audio right? What happens if something was out of place? What happens if a character the continuity wasn't there? So it's like I know what it takes to make that, and that's what you're talking about right now. Yeah. The amount of takes that you have to do, as if you didn't just do this. You're screaming again as if you didn't just have to scream. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like those moments and those things, when you really take that into perspective, I just extend so much grace and gratitude to the cast because Jesus. And when you're doing something so heavy, like a horror film where people are dying, it's a lot.
Well, not only that, it's a horror film, but also it's a horror film based off of a really great horror film. So it's like you're just a tough act to follow. Like you are the act that is,
Yes.
Scream is the act that you're following.
And that was hard.
Yeah. You're like, I have to make sure these characters, they have motive. You have to make sure these characters have motive. You have to make sure that the audience gets why they're doing what they do. You have to make sure you're feeling sympathy for everyone, not just the core four, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to take into account. You have to make sure that they're portraying that enough to make the audience feel for you as like I said, as a regular person and as the killer. Why are you doing this? This is why I'm doing this. Can you see why I'm doing this? Exactly.
It was, everything that you just said is what I take into account. Mm-hmm. And with Scream, it was always difficult. It was going to be the most difficult thing I've done to date because it's not my world. It's not a world that I've created. Yeah. It's a world that I'm just adding to. And I had to do it in a way that was not the exact same because everybody's seen Scream. It's why we love it so much.
Yeah.
But I had to do it in a way that was fresh and new and exciting, and I needed there to be twists and turns, and I needed you to not be able to tell me who the killer was. And I needed you to understand that though this is a horror film, what I'm trying to teach you is that sometimes it's okay. How do I want to say that? The reason why I love Scream so much, and Sunny, my sister, asked me this not too long ago, why do you like Scream? She's like, horror films, Eve? Like, that's what you're doing? And I said, yeah, just because I think that even the villain deserves to be loved. Yeah. Even the bad guy has to. Like, there's got to be love there. And she goes, so you can find the light in the horror film. That's interesting. And I was like, well, yeah. Well, why Scream? And I said, because I really love the idea that Sydney, no matter how many times that woman has been betrayed by friends, by lovers, by family, she has found a way to forgive them or to forgive in general, right? Because it would have been so easy after the first Scream to be like, goodbye. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to make any more friends. No, I'm not going to get into a new relationship. No. But that's not what she did. She still decided to open up her heart. And that is such a beautiful thing. And when you can see that in a horror film, which is what we were trying to do, was open up your heart a little bit and understand that, like, it's okay to feel betrayed, but it's also okay to keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're just looking at me. Stop looking at me. Right.
So yeah, I think that scene was really interesting to see because obviously Michael and I were on set for that, and obviously besides the rest of the crew, but other than that, it was just a lot of obviously you didn't rest. Michael and I were able to rest, but only because the cast was resting as well.
Yeah.
But you and the other part of the team were up just like, okay, this is the schedule. Let's stick to it as roughly as we can. Because you can say like, okay, we're going to get up at 4:45 in the morning. We're going to go to that set. We're going to get this done in at least 2 to 3 hours. You give yourself an hour buffer. You're like, okay, then we have to drive. You're accounting for drive time. You're like, I got to drive from here to here. This is 45 minutes away. We're going to say it's going to take an hour though. Mm-hmm. So we're on schedule. And then we have to film this. Let's try to take an hour on that. Mm-hmm. We have to go an hour back. Let's say it's going to take an hour and 15 a buffer. Get back. We have to film this, text these people, make sure they're ready when I get back so we can just go.
Yep.
And then even then, with having such a strict schedule, sometimes, I wouldn't say sometimes, most of the time, it just didn't happen. And it's because as the director and as the person that's filming everything, you will not know how that's going to go until it goes.
How do you leash creativity?
Exactly.
You can't. I can't put it on a schedule because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. Like in these moments when I'm asking people to do this, right? When I'm asking people to step into these roles and these characters, whether they're the good guy, whether they're the bad guy, whether they're the background, whether they're, whether they're in the costume, when I'm asking you to step into these roles, like I'm asking you to completely submit, right? And like to leave you behind and step into Fletcher or Rain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or Ghostface. I'm asking you to do that. And so I can't tell you how much time it's going to take for you to get into character, for you to be that character, and for you to come down from that character. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how to do that. Yeah. And it takes a lot. It's a mental toll on people. Yeah. It's mentally taxing. It was mentally taxing, and we're talking about such heavy trauma.
Well, yeah, and that kind of goes to the next part of it. It's like, when you did have off time, mm-hmm. some of that off time was literally just like checking in with everyone and being like, hey, we good?
Yeah.
Is everything like a mental health check-in? Yeah. Make sure that your mental health is still intact enough for you to do this scene and not break too much, like more than you would need to. Like on and off camera, more off camera, because if you stay, how you put it, if you stay in that moment for too long, you're going to let yourself feel it for too long, and then you're going to take longer to come out of that. And then even coming out of that, there's a recovery time.
Yeah. I will never forget. It was early on when we were doing, we were rehearsing, because with something like this, you have to know where people need to move, where they need to go, what the camera needs to do, how you're getting stabbed, how you're fighting. So we were doing some rehearsals, and it was a Fletcher and Rain scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we had rehearsed it, and then I was like, you know what? Let's meditate. Like, let's meditate. Let's try something. So we had all kind of came together. We grabbed hands, and it was kind of, we did our deep breathing work. Mm. And then I was like, let's do it. And they had ran the scene, and I just remember the actor at the time who was playing Rain was like, I need more time. Like, that was a lot for me. Like, still sobbing very much, still like, it's like taking on a persona, and mm-hmm. how do I release that? And so I was just like, yeah, take the time you need. And it was interesting because we ended up bringing that deep breathing work into set. Mm-hmm. And I just remember every time we would do that, it would be silent on set after, because nobody wanted to, like, we had finally figured out how to step into the energy. So nobody wanted to like
step out. Yeah.
Mess it up. So it'd be like silent. Everybody would get to places, and I would go, action. Like, it was like the one time where you heard me quiet, right? Usually I'm like, action. But after the breathing, I was just like, action. Because I knew how much emotions they were getting ready to have to display for the world.
Yeah. And I think it's always hard for people to go into a role as serious. Even like, I would say Rain, obviously that's a pretty serious role. Fletcher was a really serious role. And even the actress that played Fletcher, Like she had her own time. Like she took her own time to get into her character and to make sure she was ready, which was pretty good on her part. Like she just wanted to make sure that she was in her character and not in who she like her actual self.
And we the cast of Levels and the team behind Levels, we have the luxury of never having to step into something that isn't who we are. You know what I mean? Like we have that luxury. We're just being us. These people though who are stepping into roles like this isn't who you are. And if you are stepping into this role and you're finding relation with your character, it can be even more difficult and more challenging. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So it's like I had to take into account, I'm doing mental health checkups because I don't want you to fucking lose your mind on this set. Mm-hmm. That's it. Especially
from, again, like I was saying, obviously the emotion part of it, but also they weren't getting a lot of sleep either. So,
woo!
So
if I was putting in 90 hours, they were putting in like 60. Yeah. Like they were
here.
They were here. They were present. Mm-hmm. This was the set. We're sitting in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this was the set. So it felt like we were so separated from the world that weekend. Like I didn't even know that there was a world. If we're out driving, I'm like, oh, right. There are other people who are living.
Yeah. This isn't a set.
But remember, I've already said it's really hard to walk off set sometimes because you're like, oh shit, right. Life is lifing again.
Yeah. Well, it's even, and it's crazy because life was only lifing when you were in the car, when you were driving.
It was only lifing when I was in the car because if I was in this house, I was on set. Yeah, I remember.
I think you went crazy a little bit because just because of the fact that you were filming and living and like breathing in the same space. So even if you had off time, you were still on set. The only place that wasn't a set was like your room.
No, but it wasn't a set. But what was happening in my room? Everybody, every single person in the cast stuff was in my room. I didn't even have access to my bed. So even if I wanted to sleep, I couldn't sleep because everybody's stuff was in my room. Mm-hmm. So it was like and if we didn't want it on set, we just kind of moved it over into the bedroom. Yeah. So it was like,
what can you do? You just get it done. That's all you can do. And even towards the end, it was like we almost didn't get it done. So that's the crazy part. But yeah. All I know is that like at the end of everything, like we had literally shot the final one that we shot, which was a risque scene.
Yes.
It was that scene, and like we knew that was the last day of shooting, and so like Michael and I were out here, we were just like cleaning everything up, and you walked out and you were at your house again.
One thing about having Michael on my team is that he will bring me back into reality. He will always make sure that I ground myself and I find a way back home.
Yeah, and we had gotten you food to eat after that was done. And even then, you didn't eat it right away. So
no, I was too busy because my mind was playing games. I was drifting in from my dream. My dreams were drifting into merging. My realities. Were drifting into my films. It was tough. Cue the clip.
I'll send it to you.
I know you will. What is so funny, bro? What is so funny?
You're speaking nonsense, dog.
Said something about $1.4.19.
So me and my husband, we have this back and forth, right? I don't.
Elena. Elena, go to bed.
I did. Just trust.
And like I'm gonna use that to convince myself.
Trust the process. God, you're always so judgmental to me. God.
Who's judging you?
You.
About what?
You know what you did.
What did I do? You what?
I just wanted to wear the purple one.
I think it's a funny shit.
Let me.
Oh yeah. I don't know. When it comes to like,
Actually,
like if I was ever diagnosed with cancer,
Why are you crying?
She didn't let me wear the purple one.
if I was ever diagnosed with cancer, I can imagine this conversation going on like this.
Are you hearing this?
No, I'm talking about being diagnosed with cancer.
Elena,
What?
why are you crying?
Because you didn't let me wear the purple one.
I didn't like every single thing she
The purple what?
She said you didn't let me win a purple one. What the fuck is she talking about?
Elena,
You want a pony?
What?
what are you talking about?
I don't want to talk about it.
What purple thing do you want?
I just wanted to wear the purple one, and Mason said I couldn't.
But a purple
Why
what?
can't you wear the purple one?
Shirt?
I never said anything.
It was tough. It was a tough, and it wasn't like tough in the way that it was like, this is hard. It was just tough and like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I did all of that. I didn't even know I was capable of doing all of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, because I don't honestly don't remember how long did you sleep after that when you actually went to bed?
Like 16 hours.
It was a while. Like,
I slept almost a whole day away.
well, also the fact that we went to bed so late.
Yeah, so I think I fell asleep around 4, and I don't think I woke up until like the next evening.
Yeah, it was a
Like
long
I slept
time.
through the day.
And
But you guys letted me.
Yeah, I was.
You guys let me sleep.
Also because you were. I don't think you. I think you actually would were dead to the world. Like to us, you might as well have died because we didn't see you.
I was
You were home.
I was exhausted. I was just, oh right, just spent 96 hours on the set. Let me go to bed. Like
Yeah.
it was like, all right, let me go to bed. And again, like it pays. Like I like so much thank you to my team, so much thank you to my cast, so much thank you to the crew, like so much thank yous. Like I can't even be. I can't be more grateful for the people that I have.
Yeah. Well, luckily, life on set now is not like that.
Life on set now is drastically different. Life on set now, we've learned, we've figured out the nuances
And
of
you
it.
have more time.
And I have more time.
You don't have to be on set for 96 hours.
For 96. Yeah, that was it. Oof.
You were able to go home and go to bed. Now, the question of if you do or not, I couldn't tell you.
Go home and go to bed after set?
Yes.
Probably not. No, that's a no. It's a big no. So,
But
there's so many reasons it's a no.
yeah, so I don't know. It was a crazy time, and honestly, would do it again if we have to. But
And
basically saying that I wouldn't change it.
I wouldn't change it. Not for a damn thing. Are you kidding me? That was the greatest. And it was like it was like a starter pack,
Mhm.
right? It was like a little starter pack for me.
Yeah.
So for me, like I couldn't, and I
Trading
would
cards.
never, like, and it's so unfortunate because if you weren't there, like I could sit here and try to explain it as much as I want to.
Yeah.
But if you
There's
were
no
not
way.
there, you will never understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it was times 10. Like it's what I feel.
Yeah. Pretty much whatever you're thinking times it by 10.
Because I remember just sobbing my God. Like I had a brief moment, and what did I end up doing with that brief moment? I had to run up to the store to grab caution tape. So then I got back and I had like 30 minutes before I had to get on set, and I had called my sister because I had like 96 missed messages and like fucking phone call. Everybody was trying to get a hold of me, and it was like, what are you not understanding? I'm not ignoring you. I'm just on set. So then I had called my sister because I had a brief moment to call her, and I just remember sobbing to her. Like, oh my God, I figured it out. Like, I figured it out. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that feeling is what I've currently and will always be chasing.
Yeah.
And that's a high that I can get back.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
This is not one of those first time highs and then you can never maintain it
and then
again.
you're on a downward slope.
No,
and
no,
it never
no,
is
no.
the same.
No.
In my opinion, I feel like it would just get better every time. It's not going to be the same as it was the previous time. It's just going to keep going.
I'm just flying, man.
Birds flying high.
I'm like a bird.
I wanna fly away.
I don't know where my home is. Cheers.
I took a drink. Cheers to you and put my drink down. All right. Well, it was a shorter episode today, but really, like I said, it was just going to be a quick sit down chat, do a little.
Appreciate it.
Just kind of so you guys can see what it was like. Let me tell you, like I said, we can laugh now, but we weren't laughing in the moment.
So
I mean, I laughed after, for a certain reason.
Well, I was delusional after,
so we all were, but not quite as much as you were.
All right, cut the camera.
Cut the camera. All right, guys, we will see you next time. As I always say, any famous last words?
No.
Doesn't have
What's
to
your
be.
favorite scary movie?
Yay.
Ghostface.
Ghostface. All right, bye guys. Thanks for tuning in.